Hi everyone, it's Deb. This is going to be my first video for the Crafty Christmas Collab hosted by Bourbon Creek Crafts, and I will link her and everyone else that's in the collab down below. This is going to be sort of in two parts, but all hooked together in the video, and I'm going to try and make this part of it short, because this is the introduction to what I'm going to be using. The idea is to use only one paper pad or collection or something. Anyway, and you don't have to finish it by the end of the month, but you do have to only use this paper pad. Obviously, you can bring in cardstock or whatever else you have. So I was going to pick one that was more like the maroon colors, but this has some of that in. But I changed to this one, and I did that, and it's called Always Christmas, 48 sheets. It was a hot buy. It's from 2017. I'm thinking that's when I bought it, 2017, but don't hold me. That could have been last year. I don't know. And I counted all there's 47 sheets plus this, so I'm missing one or two of the cut-aparts, which if I can find the other sheet of them. Let me see if I can find it quick. I can be able to show you what's missing, but let me just do a quick flip through and we'll get to that then. So this is stars on a red, bright red. It looks sort of orangey there, but it's not. This one has a cardinal down here and just poinsettias up in the corner up here, and like a wood grain in the background. Very pretty. I'll probably end up cutting pieces off of these and using the center part for something, or I don't know. And then this is all over word print, you know, Jingle All the Way, Merry Christmas, Let It Snow, a beautiful Christmassy plaid, 2 sheets of that, and this is single side. We have 2 foils here. Okay, this is a different cut aparts. But I like some of these are perfect for cards or tags. This is pretty large for a card, so it would, and this for like a shopping list or something. So yeah, I have some ideas there. And then this one looks almost like a quilted poinsettia pattern. Holly berries or mistletoe, I guess that is. I don't know. Okay, this one sort of has a floral design as well, but it's tone on tone. It's hard to see the pattern. There, you can see it better. 2 of those, and they're sort of ombre or vintagey look on the edges. This, I love these cut aparts. The Let It Snow, all these borders. This says Merry, Peace, Believe, Joy, Holly, Season's Greetings. This is my favorite, probably these 2 here. Anyway, and this one. I love it all. And we have swans with poinsettias on. I love swans, by the way. And then another beautiful Christmas plaid. Okay, this is the one I used. So I used the cardinal that says Season's Greetings. But I have all these left plus that whole sheet. I'm going to stick that right there, actually, since I found it. And then we have Let It Snow up here with the all over snow pattern. So I'll probably be cutting that off too, and I might cut the word snow, and you know, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. And then we have this one with the ornaments, which may end up getting cut in sections or something. I don't know, we shall see. To let my creativity go. And then this beautiful one, which could be a framed picture. Probably won't be for me, but yeah, that's that one. And then the green, I'm sorry, the red Let It Snow word one. We had the green one earlier. This is that all over pattern again, but it's got the berries in the middle of the flowers, but it's on green with almost like a gold print on it. Really pretty. I love that. This one, May Your Day Be Merry and Bright. One of these might end up getting framed, and the other one, I'm not sure yet. And this one, the quilted look, and then we have all over poinsettias. I love that one. I got that love from my mother. She loves poinsettias. I might have to get her one for Christmas this year. And then this green with the white stars, the holly and mistletoe kind of thing. And then gold foiled with the stitching. That's gorgeous. It's gold foil. And 2 of those. So that is the paper pad, and I'm going to try and work through it the next, the 4 Sundays of December, starting with this Sunday, November, I'm sorry, did I say December? Of November, starting with November 3rd, 10th, 17th, and 24th will be the last week. So come back on Sundays every week and see what projects I've done. All right, talk to you again real soon. Bye for now. Hi all, I'm back with my second part of week 1, and this is going to show you my projects. But before we get into the projects, I just want you to know this started with 48 sheets, which I've showed you, and the only thing missing was one cut apart on one sheet, off of one sheet. And so there were 48 almost sheets. I have 33 full sheets left, plus some border strips, because the way I attacked this was I cut all the cut aparts apart and all the border strips. So I used some of the border strips and I used quite a few of the cut aparts, but I'd say I probably have maybe half of the cut aparts left. So that would be like 34 sheets and probably the same number or more of border strips. So probably 35 sheets left if I add those back up. So, somewhere between 13 and 15 sheets used this time. So I'll say 14 just to average it. So yeah, now the next thing was I was looking for coordinating cardstock. And I was trying hard not to use Stampin' Up. So I went into my stash and I found this Hot Buy. This says 2014 on it, so I probably got it in 17. And I used about 3 sheets of this darker, that looks really dark there, but it is a dark green, which ironically, thankfully, coordinates pretty well with Stampin' Up's Garden Green, because I ended up using that ink. Now, I thought I had some 8.5 by 11 Michael's papers that were a Christmas pack, like red, green, and whatever. Couldn't find it. Don't have one of these with reds in it. It has more like purples and stuff in it. So, I did have to look to Stampin' Up for that. Now, the thing is, there's actually 3 different shades of red in this paper pad. So for some things I used real red, and for some things I used cherry cobbler, and for the purpley reds, like in this strip here, or they don't show it on the cover, but you see this here, that's like a purpley red in some of the patterns, and that matches pretty well with Mary Merlot. So I pulled all 3 of those out in cardstock, inks, some of the embellishments, and then the other thing was there's gold foil on some of this, and I needed some gold foil accents, which you'll see when we get into some of the projects. So first I pulled out these mirror hunky-dory mirroring mats, but they were too small for what I needed them for. I needed, the 7-inch length. So then I found I had these Dollar Tree foil sheets. Now, there is a huge difference because these are really thick and these are quite the opposite. They're like super duper thin, which I should have realized when it says 20 sheets in here. I've had these for a while. I never opened them, but these are really thin. But that's okay because they were just for card layer borders and things. So I used I think most of 2 sheets, or maybe 3. I can't remember. And then for white, I did not want to use my Whisper White from Stampin' Up because I have some more on order, quite frankly. So I used this. I had this sitting here in my office. This is 110-pound Georgia Pacific Premium White cardstock. and it's called Bright, 92 Bright. And I got that at Walmart a while, like a year or so ago. 150 sheets. I don't remember how much it was. And then you'll see as we get there, but I needed some 5x7. Oops, I'm stuck here. 5x7 cardstock, and I was first going to take a Whisper White in 12x12 because I didn't have any other white 12x12. But then I remembered, I thought I had, and thankfully I did, I had some 5x7 A7 size cards is what they are, from Love Nicole, and I had gotten them in 2017 off Blitsy.com. So I used some of those, and with that, let me show you what I made. It's not all cards, but some of it is. Okay, so the first thing I made, which was intended to use up some of those big sheets. Oh, that's the other thing. I pulled out some of the sheets that were like, you know, the all over prints. Well, actually, I used another one of these sheets, and you'll see it, to make cards with. But there were some, you know, that have like something like this, only it had stuff in the middle. I used 4 of those to make this next thing that I'm going to show you. So the first one I made was this. The paper was this all over snowflakey kind of thing, but it says on here, let it snow. And then there were these border strips that said let it snow, and I put them around. You can't see that, I'm sorry. I put that around all the way. This was actually a tag in one of the cut aparts that said let it snow, so since I buried up some of that, I put this in here. And then I wanted this to be a little more sturdy on the inside, so this is another one of the border strips, and it goes all the way around. Now, I watched several videos, and most of them require double-sided paper because they have you fold over the top. But this is not double-sided paper, so I thought, well, I can do it in a similar way. So I found a different video, and it was from like 2012 or something. I can't remember the channel name, but I'll see if I can find it again. Anyway, you can see it's white on the inside, but before I punched holes, I wanted it to be sturdy. So between this border and the inner border, I felt like that would add longevity to it. And it's so easy to make, guys. And then this is retired white cotton ribbon from Stampin' Up. It's retired, and this is current white baker's twine. I just tied that through the same hole and attached it on. So that's the first one. And you see it says let it snow partly on the back, but the front one, I wanted to make sure at least part of it showed there. And then on this one, I like this one better. This was one that had like a wreath, which you can see the sides of here and on the bottom. But both sides say, may your days be merry and bright, like that. This is a piece of current, 2 pieces of current Stampin' Up! Garden Green ribbon that's in the holiday catalog. I told you Garden Green went pretty well with this. And this was, oh, I was looking for that other piece. This is one of the cut aparts, and I just doubled it over to make a little tag and tied it on with white baker's twine. And then inside, again, I have a border to strengthen it, and I just tied knots to keep those handles on. And yeah, I thought that went really well with it, and it helps strengthen it. But I didn't put one on the outside because it would have covered up this, and there wasn't really anything else that really matched. So I made these 2 bags, and they're pretty big. They're let's see, they are, yeah, 10 inches long by 8 inches wide, because I think the video, she did 2.5-inch scores. You take a 12 by 12 and you score it on the 2 sides. I did by 2 inches, and then at the bottom by 2 inches, and then you sort of cut up to this this score line right here in the corners, and then you glue the flaps down. You do that for 2 sheets, and then they fit right together, and you just glue them together and hold it carefully. I used, of course, my art glitter glue, held it in really tight. If you want to put borders on before you glue the 2 pieces together, put your borders on, which is what I did on the inside borders for this one. And this, I don't think you can see it, but these 2 pieces, I cut them, I think they were next to that Let It Snow one. They have a tiny bit of gold on the edging here, and that kind of brings out the gold in this May Your Days Be Merry and Bright. So I have 2 10 by 8 bags by 2 inches deep, and I thought as I was doing it, I could have made boxes with these as well, because these are shaped sort of like a box. So I thought about just making a lid to go on them and making them like a long upright box, but I decided just to make them into bags instead. And I may still end up you know, making more, but we'll see how it goes with my other projects I have in mind. So those were the first things I made, and then I cut apart all the other cut aparts, and 2 of the sheets were like wood grain, white wood grain, like a whitewashed wood, but at the top of the pages they had ornaments, and so going across they were like this. Okay, this was sort of down here like that. You get the idea. So I had to cut a little bit off there, and this would have connected right there. So I cut them up and I made them into 3 card sets. So we had this one first, then this one with the piece on earth, and then this longer one. So this card and this card are vertically opening. They stand like this, and this one is horizontal. So what I used is that, oops, I got kitty fur with glue, white, the Walmart, what's it called? I just lost it. What's it called? Georgia Pacific. The bright white 110-pound cardstock for the bases. And then this is Real Red by Stampin' Up. This is just the piece of the paper. You see the whitish wood grain. I still have the rest of the sheet, which is all just plain wood grain. Can you see that? This light, hang on. I've been having trouble with my light not going on, but I actually think it's the power strip is starting to go. And I've had it for years, so that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, so it's just Real Red, and then the cardstock, and then this Merry Christmas, and also the inside sentiment, which is hoping that your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer, that I used for these. I think I used it in here too. Yeah, these 2 cards came out of Perfectly Plaid by Stampin' Up. Here's that inner one, and then here's, I love this Merry Christmas. As somebody said on my live last Tuesday, this is one of my favorites, and their favorites as well. So I made 2 of each. Oh, this is part of the designer paper in the paper pad, and this one is bumped up. I have these rolls of foam tape that I bought off Jen Evers on a Crafty online garage sale. So I used 3 pieces of that going down, and that's bumped up on those. And then this is glued over here, but bumped up on dimensionals, which actually are a little bit not as deep as the foam tape. I maybe should have just cut a little square of foam tape there, but oh well. And I didn't put any bling or anything on. I thought that was enough. This one, I actually had a wider piece of the gold, and then I decided I wanted more red there to offset it. So there's actually an extra piece of red paper on top of the other. And this one, it's just the red paper with this strip on it. And then inside is just Real Red with the white paper again. So that's that one. And this one over here, basically the same way, except I put the Merry Christmas up a little higher since there's 2 Christmas ornaments hanging. And the inside is the same. Okay, and then this third one already had a sentiment on the front, Peace on Earth. and I just left the inside blank with just the red and white. I might see if I can find another sentiment to go inside for that. So that's the first 6 cards. Then I had this little ornament left, so I thought, well, I'll make a 3x3, or 2 actually. Again, using that same paper and this cut apart, and it says Peace on Earth as well. And then just inside a little square of the white paper. So that's all all I did on that one. And then I had 2 more little cut aparts, which was this piece here. And then this is actually cherry cobbler, because see, this red is definitely different than this red. This is a brighter red, this is deeper. So this is cherry cobbler. So I put a piece of white, and then the cut apart was just the gold piece. I backed it on a just slightly bigger piece of cherry cobbler, then on the white, and then on the card, and inside's just the, oh, I keep getting glue bits and stuff, is just the white. So same on this one. So I have 4 little, so far I have 4 little note cards. I think I have 3x3 envelopes somewhere I can use with those that are white. And then this one is one that I had only this one cut apart. This is the one that the other cut apart was missing. And here's the first use of the Dollar Tree foil sheets to go around that, because this has foiling around here and I just wanted it to pop. This is the green from the is it Craftsmith? I forget. From this yeah, Craftsmith Hot Buy paper pad. Now the thing is, whenever I use these green sheets, I brought my Garden Green Stampin' Right, which is a dye-based marker out, and I took the brush tip and I went around the edges, because the inside of these, the core is white, and I didn't want that to show. So on all the green pieces that I used today, I went around them with the green, Garden Green marker. And then inside on this, and that's true on the inside pieces too, I stamped, "May this season be filled with beautiful moments and happy memories for you and those you hold most dear." And that came out of the Toile Christmas right here. That's the only thing I think I used out of that. And then the little cardinal came out of Christmas Countdown. Now on this one, I stamped it in Memento Tuxedo Black, and I colored it with my actually I used my Stampin' Right markers on that too. So this is Real Red, Mango Melody, Soft Suede, and then the berries I started to do in the Stampin' Right, but I ended up getting out my, I think, cherry cobbler. It might be Real Red, but it's on black for the berries, so they turned out black when you stamped them, but I'm pretty sure it's Real Red, the dark Real Red, to color them in. I did it differently on some of the next ones. So that is a standalone card. The card base is one of those 5x7 from Love Nicole, and the envelope is as well. And I did just stamp in Real Red on the envelope as well. And then the next 2 are both from one sheet of paper. And I still have another one of those left, which I think I just showed you a minute ago. So let me see. I'm trying to find it, sorry. I know it's in here. Oh, my apologies. I'm trying to do it with one hand. It's not working. Here, no, that's not it. All right, hang on. I will find it for you. So sorry. You probably saw it earlier, but yeah. Boy, pages just want to stick together when you don't want them to, right? Here it is. So this is what the paper looks like. There's the top, and there's the bottom corner. So I cut them so that I got most of that green and a lot of the stuff that went across the bottom. And in this case, it was turned this way, coming down from the top, but I turned it over and had it going up and over. And I think that made a beautiful card. I backed them on the green, the dark green out of that Craftsmith pad. And then I stamped Season's Greetings. That was out of, hang on, oh, out of here. So Many Stars. This looks smaller than it really is. It's actually a fairly big greeting, which is right here. So I stamped that in real red on the scraps of the white paper from Georgia Pacific. I backed them on the green. This is all backed on the green. And then these are the Twa Tidings from Stampin' Up. Garden Green is the color. Garden Green and Real Red. So I used the Garden Green since this was stamped in Real Red. And I think that's a nice balance. And then on the inside, on this one, I didn't color it. I just stamped it in the Real Red and used that same sentiment from the Twa Christmas. So I used the Christmas Countdown little cardinal on a branch, but I used the May This Season Be Filled with Beautiful Moments, blah, 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 from the Twa Christmas. And I did that for both of them. I did not stamp on the envelopes on those, at least not yet. And I think I did this one the same way. Yes, exactly. Now this, you see, is a little bit smaller because the piece of white I had left was a little smaller. So I cut the green to fit that, and I think that looks fine. In other words, it doesn't go out to the edges of the card as much as this one does. It's pretty close. It's more short this way, actually. Okay, so that's those two. So far we're up to 1, 2, 3 5x7s, 4 3x3s, and 6 A2. But we have a couple more 5x7s. Okay, we have these. This is from the cut apart sheet. This is part of the border strips, and I just cut it so that 3 of the poinsettias showed. And again, I have a piece of the Dollar Tree gold foil behind, and then a piece of green. And then this is a piece of cherry cobbler, because the Real Red was too bright for it. So that's what I did on the outside. And then I was looking for a small poinsettia to put on the inside. So I found one in my stash, and it is a Sizzix. It's 2 actually, these 2 here. This was 661631 by Jen Long, and I'm trying to see if there's a name on it. I am not sure, actually. Let me look down here, see if it says. Oh, it's stuck together. I don't know. I just know it's Sizzix, and that's the number. But it's got this Santa with a sleigh, 2 poinsettias. I can't even tell what that is right now. And I think it's a bird, and this is another bird, and Season's Greetings, and 3 little ornaments. And it had coordinating dies. I didn't use the dies. So I used that for these, but I stamped them in cherry cobbler, and I colored them in light and dark cherry cobbler, and also dark mango melody for the centers. I did that both in both cards. And then the sentiment on this is an Altenew sentiment here. It's from Emily Matthews. It says, "From home to home and heart to heart, from one place to another, the warmth and joy of Christmas brings us closer to each other." I was looking for a sentiment that had something to do with joy. So, and this had the warmth and joy of Christmas brings us closer to each other. So I thought that went really well. And again, I just backed it in green on the white Georgia Pacific card. And that's it on those 2 5x7s. Then I was, I didn't have as many big cut aparts left, so I had 2 other ones I wanted to use for cards. There's still some others, but these mostly are the ones that lent themselves to cards. Now here we go with that deeper burgundy purpley red, and this is Mary Merlot as a card base. These are A2. They're both vertical. This is a piece of the paper out of the paper pad that I was using, and this Merry Christmas was already, that was the cut apart. So I backed it in the green from the Craftsmith pad. I backed the plaid with the green from the Craftsmith pad. This piece is bumped up then on that foam tape, again 3 strips of it. And then these are the gold glitter gems, gold glitter enamel dots that just became available November 1 to customers as part of the Christmas Time is Here suite of products. So if you're interested in those, they are now available at Stampin' Up. So the cardstock, the dark cardstock, and these are Stampin' Up, and everything else is not. And then inside I just put a 1.5 inch strip of this paper. I didn't back it on the green though, and then I cut a smaller piece of the Georgia Pacific white to put on the inside, and that's it for both. I don't have envelopes with them because I'm out of A2 envelopes and I didn't feel like making envelopes right now. And the last cut apart I wanted to use for a card was this swan, and this I had already cut into that paper to make the, which ones? One of the other cards. I can't even remember now which one it was. Anyway, there was a card earlier that I used some of that gold and red stripe paper. That's going to bug me now. I think it was on one of the ornament cards, but yes, it was for this one. So I had already cut into the paper to get some strips to put on these cards, and so I had a fairly large piece left, so I made 2 card mats for the A2 size. So the A2 is 5.5 by 4.25, so I'm sure this is 4 by 5.25. And then I debated about putting that in the middle, and I thought, nah, it just didn't look right. So I backed the cut apart on the white cardstock. It already has gold around the edges and red. And then this is a strip of the white cardstock. I had lots of strips left, and I just used this border from the Christmas Countdown by Stampin' Up in the current holiday catalog. And I put a piece of scrap over here and tried to partially ink the stamp. This one got a little further down. This one I made it stop in time. So that's the outside, and then the inside I just took a piece of the white and went all the way down with the border, and that's back to real red again. So you can see this is real red. It's a brighter red, and yeah, so I thought that came out cute, and it has the poinsettias it ties in. Now see, that's a little bit darker, but the background is more the real red, as is the stripe in this paper. So yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 10 A2 size cards that need envelopes still, but 10 A2, and I think, was it 5? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 by 7s or A7 size cards, and 4 3 by 3s, plus 2 larger sized gift bags made for this week's project. So I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun making these, really I did, and they are fairly simple cards, but just because the cut aparts are all different shapes, it's not that easy to just do it assembly line. You've got to find the right colors of the papers to go with them and things. So that was the hardest part. I'm kind of spoiled because I know what goes with what in Stampin' Up, but when you have other products, you have to kind of dig and see what you have that matches with it. So it was fun. It was fun, and I enjoyed doing these as well. I finally have a solution for some of the big sheets, but like I said, on these cards, this part was all at the top of the one big sheet, and I still have the wood grain pieces to use for other cards or whatever. So I'm going to store these temporarily in my 2 bags till I get all my other projects done. This is week 1 of 4 in November, 4 Sundays in November. I hope you will come join us again next Sunday and see what I've made and what everyone else made. And please go hop along to the other crafters in the collab. There's quite a few of us. And thank you to Bourbon Creek Crafts for letting me participate. I certainly appreciate that. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm working through a paper pad that's not even my end of month work through my 12 by 12 paper pad month. So I'm working on Christmas. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you again soon. Hugs, love, and peace. Bye for now.